probably respond.
Yeah.
Hey,
you're live.
Hey, how you doing? We were just talking about Shine. Shout out to Shine. He joined Planet Coaster 2.
Yes.
And let us know in Discord how much he's liking it. Planet Coaster 2. Welcome, everybody, to the XoneBros. This is your positive gaming and Xbox community. Thank you for being here. For those of you listening to us live here over on YouTube, thank you for being here. Make sure you hit that like button. Appreciate hanging out with you guys. For everybody listening over in podcast land, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe to us. Share us with your friends. Leave us a 5-star review. It very much helps. Also, go follow Mr. McSpicy's channel.
Thank you.
Come follow my channel, X1 the Gamer, and join us in all things Xbox. Before we get into the main news of the day, which basically you could summarize the news of the day as a lot of people on Twitter are bitches. That's basically what it is. So, but before we get into it, let's recap because we're Planet Coaster 2. But before we get to that, I want to talk about we had our Dynasty mode, or in Dynasty mode, we're in the playoffs for College Football 25. And shout out to Slimiest BT because, in fact, let me make sure. I think I'm getting his gamer tag wrong. I always miss. It's Slimiest. I'll just say Slimiest.
Okay.
But we have a rivalry going. Slimiest Boogie. I don't know why I said BT, but Slimiest Boogie. Shout out to him. He has beat me twice in the regular season, and then I made it to the playoffs, and it was intense, bro. We played again in the playoffs, and I squeaked it out in the playoffs.
You won?
So
Yeah.
it's a rivalry, man. That's a rivalry. But shout out to him. He is a really good player, and we played. I squeaked it by. This week I'm playing the computer. If I win, I'm in the finals. College Football Championship. Jordan actually watched that entire game.
Yeah.
He came in and he came over and watched it, and it was intense, huh?
Yeah, it was good.
Except for he didn't help me.
No, I was playing Pokemon, the trading
Because
card game. On
It
my
was.
phone.
I didn't realize it was right before halftime. I had the ball, and I thought it was third down, and I was in position to kick a field goal, which then I get the ball back after halftime. So this would have been big for me. But I thought it was third down, so I threw a short pass to run the clock. No, it was actually fourth down, so I turned the ball over instead of having the opportunity to kick the field goal. And Jordan didn't warn me. He wasn't paying attention. My assistant coach was not there.
Yeah, blame him for your user error.
Yeah, but if anybody's interested in joining us in Dynasty mode, the season's almost over. You could jump in on a new season. It's a ton of fun. Yeah, it's not a huge commitment. One game a week. It gets progressed every week. So just a lot of fun. Come and join us there. But let's talk about Planet Coaster 2 because Jordan played it last week. Mr. McSpicy was just playing it right now as we walked in, and I had a chance to jump in. I know Shine, shout out to Shine in the community.
Yeah, he's
says
playing.
He's into it and loving it at the moment. And yeah, dude, it's a lot. Basically, what they did with Planet Coaster 2 is take a game engine and turn it into a game. I mean, I'm sure that's all the Planet Coasters are, but they really improved a lot. It feels very detail oriented. It looks beautiful on console, and the controls. These games do really well with mouse and keyboard, but the controls are pretty
actually,
seamless.
I've seen a lot of people on PC are actually complaining because now I haven't played it on PC. I played the original on PC and then console because that's kind of how it came out. But I haven't played this one on PC yet. But I've seen a lot of the Steam reviews are complaining. They feel like the control scheme is very console focused, so it's frustrating to play on PC for some of them. So, yeah, to your point, it plays well on the console.
So how many people can we get in franchise mode?
5.
Oh, okay. So Shine can jump in on franchise mode.
Yeah. We'll make another path.
Okay, we'll make another path off.
There's a main plaza that I created that anybody can do what they want, and then I branched off 3 paths, one for each of us. But we'll throw a 4th one in there.
Excellent.
Just be prepared to have a budget meeting with Jordan.
Yeah, and then we'll have to. David laughed because you have to update your notes. All right, guys, I worked from 6 to 5 today, or 5 to 6. This is what I did. And then there's going to be times where we log in and it's like, oh my gosh, who hired 6 people? We don't have the budget. Because I spent a lot of it, that opening experience. I figured out the water show, by the way.
Oh yeah, you were doing a water show, which is intense.
It's a very basic water show, but I figured it out.
But what you could do is some crazy intense stuff with that water show.
Oh yeah, well even just like the video we're watching right now, you see how it's the ride. This ride that he's showing on the video that we're watching is the teacups, but this is a blueprint that the game did for you, but it's themed as Vikings. That's like one of the new cool features. You can go in and customize you could always do theming on rides, but this time you can go in and actually like customize the tracks, the towers,
You get down to
individual
the
parts of the
details.
rides. Yeah, so it's super. The features I think it's a good sequel. The features they've added are really well done, and even Shine said it in Discord. The new pathing system is a game changer
Game changer.
from the first game. Which we were showing Mark
Yeah.
how some of the new pathing tools you can use, which just it makes it more realistic. Basically, like you can have plazas and different things. It's very well done game.
I feel like a moron.
Yeah. Well, and we haven't even talked about what you can do with the big new feature is the pool system, like water parks. We haven't even talked about what you can do with that. That stuff is getting crazy.
What blew my mind the most was you showing me the undo button.
Oh yeah,
Because I don't even know how many times I had to restart the stupid tutorial. They should start with, hey, this is undo. Now let's do the tutorial. Because I feel like I was breaking everything playing. I think I'm just stupid, but I'll get the hang of it.
Well, and I played the first game too, so there's a little bit of familiarity
Familiarity.
there.
Yeah.
So. Well, this is what I like. So see what we're watching this guy. This guy's putting down bathrooms. These are the basic bathroom buildings. They're not decorated at all. You can go in and people build decorations and buildings around them like a shell to give it theme.
Oh, cool.
So so it's not just like, hey, here's a toilet.
Yeah.
Make it look nice.
Yeah, and we were talking last week, but I want to ask again. It's kind of like Forza's liveries, right? Where you can go online and see what other people have made.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
there's a YouTuber that I watched. He built this incredible coaster on his channel, and he put it on the front. He uploaded it. So I went in my game and downloaded it. Now I can use it in the park when I'm ready for that, roller coaster and stuff like that.
Does he get rewarded for you downloading it like in Forza?
I think they just get like, hey, good job making more stuff.
Well, that's still good. Hey, I want a pat on the back sometimes.
Yeah. Hey, someone downloaded this. Thanks. So, but yeah,
A ton of fun.
really fun. Well, it's the game you can get lost. It's almost like I spent a couple hours just trying to figure out how to do like this basic water show, because how our franchise mode is what I did is I kind of pulled up the ground from the entrance, and then we kind of go over a bridge. David, you've seen it, like a moat,
Yep.
and then into this like upper plaza, and then from that point it goes down into the 3 sections of the park, soon to be 4, for each of our areas. And I just spent like a good hour to 2 hours just kind of trying to figure out like this centerpiece. Like almost the idea is like, how like when you walk into Disneyland, you look straight down and you see the centerpiece of when you're in California, it's Sleeping Beauty's castle, in Florida, it's Cinderella, the castle,
Yeah.
I was trying to get that. It's not a huge, nice castle. I'm not that good yet, but I'm trying to get that kind of feel.
Yeah.
And I was able to finally kind of get a basic thing that I like that we can now further expand on with a cool little water show that goes I think I have it going every 30 seconds.
I really like who we're watching, by the way. This person knows what they're doing.
Yeah, there's efficiency.
I was not playing like this. I'm a moron.
Well, what's going to be interesting about seeing everybody's different section of park? So I like I'm trying to make it like when I go to theme parks, this is how they do it, right? This is what
Yeah.
it's like, and but I could like this guy that we're watching right now, like it's very efficient.
Well,
know what I mean? Like,
that's how I
that
that's
might
how I
be
play
yours,
City
yeah.
Skylines.
No, and not to say that like theme parks aren't efficient. I mean, I think they try to be, but
This
but
guy
there's gonna
plays
be
how I
different-
play.
Yeah, the grid system.
Yeah, min-maxing everything. That's great.
Maximum profit.
Now, see, my place is going to be wild.
No seatbelts. No mechanics. Rides are breaking down.
You're like,
That's cool. Yeah, it's fun. There's a big learning curve for
Yeah.
me on this game.
Well, I think that's how I was in the first game, because it's almost like playing Civ for the first time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You just gotta like, okay, I just gotta figure out everything.
Because there is so much in the menu, and trying to find things and all that. The menu, like the UI, I guess, that has everything with a game like this, which makes sense because there's a million things you can build, how you build it, structure, all that stuff, mechanics.
And I'm actually surprised you got it on Xbox. I thought you were gonna maybe lean towards the PC with this game.
Yeah, but
Then you didn't, huh?
then I just bought it on Xbox.
Yeah,
I wanted to play on Xbox.
Now I do wonder.
You're right. I should have bought it on the PC.
I do wonder if this will, I haven't looked it up. If Xbox has games like Final Fantasy Online, for example, you can plug in a mouse and keyboard and it'll switch the UI for mouse and keyboard. I wonder if this game has that feature as well.
Basically, the reason I got it on Xbox is I have a game station up in my loft, so I
so you
hang
can
out
play
with my
there.
family.
When
I can play it there.
And once you get like, I feel like I'm decently. I mean, I can get faster with practice, but I feel like it's
yeah.
where the mouse. Well, see, I don't know. I've been doing pretty good with the control. I haven't really built like a high end coaster yet, but I feel like that's maybe where the mouse will, because you can just go in and pinpoint little things quicker.
Well, the thing is, though, like they didn't. It's not like so. Normally, for instance, in Paradox Interactive games that are then ported over to a mouse, the actual UI is different to fit a controller. The UI is not different here.
No, it's
and
the
that's
same
the complaint of PC players, I think. So actually, I think playing on a controller isn't.
This guy knows how to make lines.
I know.
Yeah,
this
guy's
guy
good.
is phenomenal.
Not his first time,
It's not his first rodeo.
and then no one cares about that one because it's just like get out,
It's like, get out of here.
get out, and get back
There's
on.
no line to get out. I hope it's
That's
open. Fireworks.
awesome.
Anyways. But yeah, the UI is not different, so I think you're not at a disadvantage on controller. Like maybe you get a little bit more precision just because you like a mouse, but look, like you can access this stuff almost as quick.
It's it's well done for the console.
Yep.
Were these employees?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I had to fire a few of them in our franchise mode.
Were they on their phones?
yeah. Well, and it's funny because if you zoom in and you fire them, they go, oh. And then they just like walk on, and then they walk away.
That's funny.
That's great.
I don't know why he's hiring a lifeguard.
You know? Well, he's got plans.
yeah.
Did he just hire a lifeguard?
Yeah.
I do want to shout out here real quick. We did get a super chat from Super Shocker, so huge shout out to Super Shocker and everybody that was gifted. 5 XoneBros memberships were gifted. Everybody that was gifted a XoneBros membership, make sure you drop a BFF for Super Shocker. And huge thank you and shout out to Super Shocker. And that means you get a loyalty badge. It means you get access to our behind the scenes and our extra shows and the whole shot emotes. So thank you very much for that. Let's jump to the news of the day, which the news of the day is Phil Spencer did an interview. Well, there's two things kind of leading up to this. Phil Spencer did an interview this week with Bloomberg, and he didn't say anything new. But because he didn't say anything new, but he just said it in a different way, the Xbox Twitter Spaces freaked out. And it's all about
that time of year again.
Yeah, it's about that time of year.
We've had a month of
it's about
peace.
that time of month.
So we've had a month of peace, and now it's back.
Yeah, so a lot of people said that, well, this means that Xbox is going third party. Xbox is not going third party. It's not a thing. It's not happening. They just don't understand. It seems they don't understand the Game Pass strategy. Xbox is Game Pass, and Game Pass is Xbox. What Phil Spencer said is there are no red lines to games, considering games that go on other platforms. And that's nothing different that he said we're taking in the past. The new word here is red line. There's no red line. And so people are taking that like, oh, Halo's going to PlayStation. Gears is going to PlayStation. Blah, blah, blah. It's now all available on PlayStation. And the talking point seems to be that games are now going to PlayStation. That's not, he didn't say that at all. What he said is, what he said in the past is they will consider everything on a case-by-case basis. And where it makes sense, they'll make those decisions. For instance, Sea of Thieves makes complete sense. And Indiana Jones makes sense. So nothing changed here. But
we need something to talk about.
we need something to talk about. So we'll use it for our purposes to call people stupid.
That
That doesn't mean that if you have concerns that you're dumb, but people are jumping to conclusions and saying that. Then today, Xbox dropped an ad, and I think it's one of the best ads they've done yet. I think it's clear. I think it's concise. I think it sets up and finally explains to people who are unwilling to see it what Xbox is. And Xbox is Game Pass, and Game Pass is Xbox. And what it is the video. In fact, can we play the video?
Yeah,
Spicy?
I actually have it preloaded over here.
It's a video that goes through and says, this is an Xbox, and it shows the Xbox Series X, and then it shows this television. This is also an Xbox, and your phone. This is also an Xbox, and it's showing the Game Pass app. It's showing playing, via the cloud. This is an Xbox whenever you want, and then it shows a laptop. This is an Xbox. Yep, you've got it. This is an Xbox, and this is an Xbox, and it goes through all these different devices. And that is exactly correct. Xbox is an ecosystem. Game Pass is Xbox, and Xbox is Game Pass. And so, of course, once again, This doesn't mean that Xbox is no longer going to make consoles. Indeed, they are going to continue to make consoles. But that's just one place where you'll be able to play Xbox. You'll be able to play them on a variety of devices and a variety of places. Game Pass Ultimate, for instance, on your PC, like we're seeing here on the thing. But that is the future. This isn't new. This is just, I think, the best ad for that Xbox has done to this point to really clarify it, I think.
No, it was a really good ad. I actually thought it was really good and really effective, and it shows what they're going for. And this is, I mean, I've said it before, this is incredibly consumer friendly. Like, if you don't, and it taps into a whole new market. Like, for example, just casual gamers, right? Not everybody has a console. Not everybody wants a console. Not everybody wants to go out and spend $300 to $500 to get a console. But I could play Gears of War on my phone through the app. Yeah, okay, I'll do that. I actually have a perfect example. We have some people in Hawaii that we know. And
our cousins.
Yeah. Shout out. No, he didn't know this. He bought a new Samsung TV and he texted. He goes, "Hey, do I just have to go buy an Xbox controller and I can play like all four?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, it's Xbox games." So he is now a Game Pass subscriber. He was texting me the other day talking about what game. But anyway, they play Forza off their Samsung TV and they love it.
Because it comes built in.
Because it comes built in. And what he did is he became a new subscriber of Game Pass. It's he's primarily a PC gamer and he plays a lot of Escape from Tarkov. I would say that's kind of his game. Yeah. But because of this option, he's now been opened up to more new games and cool games, and he plays with his kids. It's really, it's a very good strategy. It's, I've said it before. Let the people play.
Let the people play.
So, it's just
again, this is
being able to take your titles and play them anywhere is good for the gamer.
Yeah, this does not make Xbox a third party. That's
not
the
at
argument all. that I don't get at all. Well, nor is it meaning that Xbox is going away from consoles. Console will just be one option.
Yeah.
And will be a really good option. I totally plan on getting the next largest generational leap in a console. Now, a part of this interview, too, Phil Spencer did confirm that they are working on a handheld, an Xbox handheld as well. Further proof that they're not going away from a console, by the way.
Yeah. Well, I think you just see the absolute smashing success of the Nintendo Switch.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if PlayStation's going after it as well. But somehow online, and granted, I think a lot of these people are lying to you to make content.
And it's generally just on
the
Twitter.
Talking points came up on Twitter, except social media, that, this means that it's going to PlayStation 5. What do you talk? First of all, is Game Pass on PlayStation 5, everybody? Is it? Because if it is, then yes. If it's not, then...
Well, and what
are you talking about?
Makes me laugh
if Game Pass goes to PlayStation 5, it's game over. Game Pass wins. I already think it's game over. It's just a matter of time because I think this is a very, very difficult product to compete with.
Yeah. Well, it makes me laugh because, like you said, there's some people online, mostly Twitter or X, that are, Xbox is going third party. Well, what about the other 3 times this year that Xbox supposedly was going third party?
Yeah, someone responded to one of my tweets. Because where I was mocking this talking point, and he said it, and they said Xbox has been going under since 2002. What are you talking about? Like,
and I just want to say something because this is like I was talking to David about this in the car, and it may not mean anything, but it just bothers me. Not bothers me, but it's just like annoying. So there's a lot of people that, and look, if you have this stance, that's fine. If you prefer, it's like digital and physical. If you prefer to buy physical because you like the collection aspect, that's fine. Digital is just another option, right? Mm-hmm. Yep. So people use Game Pass as like, well, it's just a rental service. It's like, okay,
yeah, here's looking at you, crap gamer.
It's like, okay, well, it's just a rental service. That's okay. Like that's if you don't want to rent games and you want to buy them at $70 a pop, that's fine. I'm not against that. I actually bought some games the other week. I showed David because I'm starting a small collection at home.
Good for you.
I bought some physical. It's just if that's what you're into, that's great. But what makes me laugh about I prefer to own my games.
And here's looking at you again, crap gamer.
Anybody who says that, maybe you don't. But I would just like to take a peek at your Steam library and see how many games you have on there because you do not own a single one of those games on Steam, and it is very blatant in their terms of service that you do not own it. So my question is, and I'm not pointing out anybody. I've seen people that
I am crap
well,
gamer.
well, the thing is, I haven't seen his Steam library. Okay, I've seen people that have giant Steam libraries and then complain about I don't want to be on this service because it's just renting games, and it's like, well, you're literally doing it like you don't own them on Steam either. So I just get annoyed at that.
Yeah, it's a foolish.
I don't want. If you don't want to rent the games, then buy it.
Yeah,
it's just an option.
It's a foolish talking point.
But don't take the holier than thou approach.
Spicy, what do you think of this ad, though? You think it was a good ad, bad ad? What do you think?
What's funny is Super Shocker just said, "Okay, we've seen this ad 1,000 times now. We've had the ad on a 30-second loop."
Because it's not a very long ad. I mean, it's like a 30-second spot. What do you think of the ad, though? Spicy.
It's fine.
Yeah, I think it's good. I think it explains exactly. This is the first from Xbox ad of this is what Game Pass is. This is what Xbox is. Xbox is Game Pass. Game Pass is Xbox. And I thought it was good.
Yeah, I thought it was good at. I thought it was effective at saying you can play our games where you want.
Yeah.
Which I think, and I've seen this a lot. I think was it Destin who also I think actually had a good take on this over on Twitter. I think you're gonna broaden your audience to a younger generation because a younger generation doesn't want to buy one box.
Well, they don't care at all about.
I'll switch over to the
consoles.
article.
There you go.
Yeah, the article about
You can
it.
switch over to my Twitter profile if you want, because I'm about to read some quotes from my Twitter profile.
From yourself?
For myself. I'm going to quote myself here.
Okay.
So, that's the ad. The ad is good. The ad is not saying anything else except for, hey, subscribe to Game Pass because it's awesome. So, Crap Gamer tweets out a snarky little response to this ad. And I'm only picking on him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. I think he has crap takes. Hence his name, Crap Gamer.
It's his namesake.
And he's been on the Xbox's movie third party since the original, freak out here over on the Twitter Spaces. But he doesn't like this, and this is what he says. He says, "Hey, right before the holiday season, where lots of people want to buy a new gaming console, let's run an ad that tells people they don't need to buy your console." Brilliant.
I actually think that already has its flaw because given the specific times and how people are struggling with money right now, I do not think a console is on your list. So this is much more appealing to purchase.
Yeah.
As
So
a holiday gift.
I responded, and I said, it's not saying don't buy an Xbox. It's doing both, selling the console and pushing Game Pass, which last I checked is a steal for the holidays. But sure, let's pretend offering a ton of games for a small subscription is somehow a bad thing. And that is like they're willfully missing the point, I think, a lot of people. The other thing, just to respond to, and this tweet has 38,000 views already and counting. And why does it have so many views, you may ask? Because I think it's just bringing truth to the world. I am your source of truth. It's cutting through the crap. And all I said was, people seem to be missing one huge point. Game Pass isn't on PlayStation 5. You want the library, the day one exclusives, the sheer value. You're not getting that on PlayStation. The Xbox advantage is real, and it's called Game Pass. Again, Xbox is Game Pass. Game Pass is Xbox. It's really not that hard. I really don't understand the. I think it's just faux outrage for the most part.
No, it is. It is. When you search on, like when I was actually during the show, I was searching for that trailer. And I just searched Xbox, and every single, like the top 10 are people complaining about the trailer. You know what I mean? Which is really interesting to me. It makes me, I have a hard time with journalists anyways, especially game journalists. I haven't trusted them for 12 years.
Yeah.
I don't know what caused me to stop trusting them in the first place. There might have been some catalyst.
Destiny review, the NCAA review.
Oh, yeah. I think it might have been Destiny.
Yeah.
I think because they kept telling me that game sucked, but it was so fun.
You keep telling me I should hate this, but I love it.
But I love that game.
What is wrong?
Anyways, it's like it's really funny. I think obviously the motivation behind having a critical outlook on everything when it comes to posts and all that stuff is to get views and to garnish discussion and to
it's the world we operate in.
Yeah, and that is what. Unfortunately, that's how you gain views and gain ad revenue and all that stuff. And so it's just this, it's really I mean, I'm not even on social media. I have accounts, but I don't think I've logged in for 3, 4, 5 years because I can't stand that stuff. And I'm much happier than you, David. I really feel. I don't know. Actually,
do you get to speak truth to the world like I do? Because I just did. And let me tell you, since we've been sitting here, that 38,000 just ticked up to 39,000.
good for you, man.
And it's because all these people are lying to you, I think, to make content. That's it. Like, that's it. I think it's at best, it's a poor interpretation of what is happening. At worst, it's willful lies.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that's how you get views, and that's how a lot of channels, a lot of content creators. It's unfortunate that's the outlet that they have to have in order to be successful in their.
I think it's like this. Hey, I'm stuck in the 2002, and I have an Xbox, and that's the way that consoles will work always. Well, guess what, pal? Do you have an iPod still? Do you still consume your music via an iPod? Because if you do, more power to you. But we've evolved since then. Like, that device no longer works in the same way, nor is it consumed in the same way. To need devices like that, rather, right? Like, your music isn't consumed in the same way where you need an iPod necessarily. Almost nobody has an iPod. Or do you have a phone? Do you have a camera? Do you have a pocket camera now? No, you have a phone that is primarily your camera for 99% of things that you're doing, because we've evolved. Technology has evolved. That's the same as consoles. Consoles will still exist and do still exist, and Xbox is not moving away from consoles, and any suggestion that they are is foolish. All they're doing is broadening where you can subscribe to Game Pass. And that's the ball game, everybody. And the reason it's going to be so hard, the reason I think it's correct, is because how do you compete with that in the long term? And if you haven't already, especially now that you have Activision Blizzard, and with the election happening, it's not a coincidence that Phil Spencer came out in that same interview and said, yeah, we're still looking at acquisitions here. We're looking at more acquisitions, particularly acquisitions in Asia. We're going to have more acquisitions here from Xbox and Microsoft because you've got to fill your library, your subscription-based service with games of all types so that people subscribe to you. Like, that's it. Mm-hmm. And that's the future. And the future is bright. I do want to shout out 2 super chats here that we did get in. Huge shout out and thank you. Drew Stanek dropped $5 super chat. He says, 2 years, 27 days. Game on, my friends. Game on, brother.
You know what's interesting about Game Pass?
Yeah.
I get annoyed when I have to buy a game now.
Yeah.
I just bought Planet Coaster.
I don't get annoyed when I have to buy a game that I want to buy, but I don't take chances on games now. Like Dragon Age. Prime example. Did not take a chance on that game, and it looks like I was correct.
Jordan, was he correct?
I returned mine.
You did, really?
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that after we get to our next super chat here.
Yeah.
Next super chat. Uncle Zenu dropped $4.99 super chat. He says, super shocker with those deep pockets, bottomless. What an absolute boss. Absolutely. Amen. Thank you, Uncle Zenu, for that. And then we did have one more super chat. Oh, my goodness. I can't get to it. There it is, by Warren Cooper. He's been a member for 48 months. What's up, bros? Not long till Microsoft Flight Simulator 24.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's another hit.
That's this month. Also on Game Pass, everybody. So that's coming there. But Jordan the Man, yes, tell us, Dragon Age, you returned it.
Yeah.
So you were enjoying it. Tell us what happened.
So okay, to preface this, I don't think it's a terrible game. It's 100% hands down.
Okay, well, let me ask you
No
this.
argument, not game of the year.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask.
Yeah,
because
it's not...
Because Eurogamer gave it a 10 out of 10 and said it's the best Dragon Age, hands down, no questions asked.
No. So, and like I said, if you think it's a 0 out of 10, and if you think it's a 10 out of 10, you're politically motivated with both of those views, in my opinion, which is usually correct. So...
Usually.
Yeah, I'll admit there, every once in a while you get it wrong, but most of the time.
When you
I got
get
like a 90% record.
When Jordan gets it wrong, we get a burger.
Yeah, we do, normally.
So, but no, I don't think it's a terrible game. I don't think it's game of the year, but I think what's ironic about this is it's the one thing that I actually don't want in the. So I think the combat system is what holds the game together. I actually do think the combat system is fun. I've been enjoying it. I think they add enough to keep things fresh. I like like I said last week, I like the ignition system that they have where you apply an effect and then ignite an effect and it does more damage. It kind of incorporates your party. I do wish there were changes on that, like having maybe individual cooldowns for party members' abilities, not just all in one like it currently is, at least where I'm at. I really like the rune system. Gives you kind of a little bit more of just more specific customization, like wanting to, have maybe use a rune to have fire on your abilities, which then can combo with igniters, and then basically just having skill trees within your party members to do what they want, have them heal you, blah, blah. I think the combat system is really well done for an action combat game. What's ironic about that is that's not the type of combat system I want in a Dragon Age game. I want the first Dragon Age combat system where it's much more strategic, and it is definitely much more strategic in Dragon Age Origins than it is in this game. This is definitely leaning towards the very action combat side of the spectrum.
I mean, it sounds like you enjoy it for the most part. Why return it?
Before you answer that question, what I find interesting is Dragon Age Origins has bumped up in gameplay and purchases again.
Because people are coming home.
Exactly.
People are saying, hey, wait a minute.
They had the taste, and they're like, "Oh, I want to actually play a good game."
Well, even when you go into the menu of Dragon Age Origins, we pulled it up as an experiment, and it just has a feel. The music, it feels epic.
Yeah.
Okay,
back to you.
Sorry. It's
so why? So it sounds like you like it. Why return?
I like the combat system, and the story is meh. Like it's not that great. And it's like, okay, well, basically the reason I returned it, there was a catalyst that made me return it, and we'll get to that. But the main reason I returned it was because I don't think the combat system could hold me over for the next 50 hours.
Because you were what, like 10 hours in?
I was when I refunded it, I was 11 hours and like 15 minutes in, and I'm just gonna tell you guys. I know people are gonna be like, "Oh, well, you didn't play the whole game." I don't need 50 hours to know that I'm not gonna finish a game.
Yeah,
like I know. Like, all right, the story's not good. Well, the dialogue is continuously getting worse, and it feels like I'm disciplining it. All the comments on YouTube were right. Like, it feels like you're talking to your children when trying to explain things. You can't. There's really an illusion of choice, and you can say that in a couple BioWare games, but like, you can't be mean. Like, it's like, oh, that's a stupid thought. Like, and it's like, oh, well, I don't think we should do that, but great suggestion. It's like, well, like, just let it's like, anyway, the dialogue is not very good. The story is not, in my opinion, also not very good. I told David, because it's on screen right now, I absolutely, and I know this is subjective, I think the game is in an interesting, has a different art style than previous Dragon Age games. I think some parts of the game look really good in the art style. Other parts, like when talking to characters, does not look very good. I absolutely do not like the new design of the Darkspawn. They do not look like Darkspawn. They look like they came out of a teen romance vampire novel. And it's just, I mean, remember I showed you, I went into photo, I said, hey, look, here's the new Darkspawn. And then we looked at like the original Darkspawn. You're like, there's a difference.
You wanted them to be more gritty.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. This is a very, I know people have posted certain things online, like in I think it's like part 2 or something, when some elf gets choked by a octopus tentacle thing. Yep. And they're like, oh, it's still very dark. No. I mean, sure, that kind of sucks for that guy, but
well, in fairness,
then you play Pixar music and have someone juggle around a wrench in the next scene. Like it's not
the legitimate reviews that said I just didn't enjoy this game. They did share in common with you that they reached this point where it drops off for them and it just becomes a slog. What you're saying is you experienced the same.
Yeah, I did. It just after I got to a certain point, which for me was 11 hours in, I was like,
the intro you were blown away.
The intro, well, I wasn't blown away, but the intro was good. It was like, okay, this is a cool way to start a game. The little bar fight that they have, and then kind of going through introduce. Like I was like, that's not too bad. But again, the combat held a lot of that up because it was teaching you the combat, and I think that's all this game has is the combat. And for me, I don't think that combat could hold me over for the next 50 hours or whatever it's going to take to beat this game. Now, there was a catalyst that made me think, I just can't do this.
What was that?
And people, you can get mad at
Wait,
me.
we could actually go back like 2 seconds because that's the darkspawn.
Yeah, right.
And it
there.
actually showed, especially if you want to rewind like 2 seconds, when they're running towards head on, right there.
They look.
Okay.
Wait, it'll flash to them front, right there.
Okay, now pull up Darkspawn from Dragon Age Origins and compare the two.
Okay, give me a sec.
So, but there was a catalyst, and people can get mad at me in the comments or whatever, but there is a character you meet. Her name is Tosh, or sorry, their name is Tosh.
Tasho.
And they are literally the most annoying character
What?
I have ever come across in my entire life. And that, by the way, is when the game really starts to socially lecture you about
Okay. This is that
about
character.
their idea of what the world should be, which games put political view, or there's games that put political views in their games all the time, but the way they do it is very...
It's like talking down.
It's again talking down to you like a child. I think it was Asmongold who said it correctly. They are not mature enough to tackle these topics. And I think that is correct, the writers. Yeah, look at the original Darkspawn.
So that one's just fan art, though.
But I'm trying to find.
Well, just go to that second one on the right top. That's from Dragon Age 2, I believe.
This one right here?
Yeah, the one on the left.
Whoops.
Oh, that one's good, though.
Here. This one right here.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll throw that on screen.
There's an ogre and Darkspawn. Like, I don't know about you guys, but that looks better to me. You know why? Because that's more of like a Lord of the Rings orc vibe.
I mean, it is just, it's an art style.
Yeah, it's definitely art style, but
it's more gritty versus that's like the Joker.
That's teen novel vampires. Like, I was waiting for Edward to come in and save me.
I mean, they're still very similar, though. It's more, I think it has to do with like the color palette.
Yeah, it's just not for me.
Yeah.
But, and there's, but,
Anyways,
that was the catalyst, because there was a lot of like I said, the one social lecturing, and then just like the way it was like, why are you like acting like this?
Why are you in my group?
Like
why are you in my crew?
Like it's like, this is the way I base off. Anyway, it was just like, that's when I realized I cannot do this for the next 30 something hours.
Getting lectured when you're trying to escape
not
and play
just
a game,
not
a
just
fantasy game.
Yeah, not just being lectured, but just like how terrible the lecturing was. Like, you're not getting your point across.
Yeah.
I know you may think you are, but you're not. And then, and all that aside, like, let's take the social lecturing off to the side here, off to the left. Let's pretend it's not even in the game. The character is literally the most annoying character I've ever had in a video game, and that's saying something, because there are some annoying characters in video games.
Why are they so annoying? Who is this character?
Tosh? Yeah. Because they act like a moody teenager.
Oh.
Is actually the best way to describe it. And I think they're supposed to be like 22 or something like that.
We all know, and everyone hates moody teenagers.
Everyone hates moody teenagers.
And see, maybe if I was a moody teenager, like maybe 10 years ago, I could have empathized with this character and connected with him. But in my age now, I can't. Like, I need...
I'm terrified to have moody teenagers, actually.
Well, there's been annoying characters. I'll admit, in Ocarina of Time, Navi is really annoying, but it didn't make me quit the game. Okay, and this is where, by the way... Okay.
Wait, hold on. I want to know. Spicy, do you agree that Navi is annoying in Ocarina of Time?
I would have never used the term annoying.
Oh, okay.
But I don't... I mean, whenever she said listen, I listened.
Yeah, but sometimes it's like, okay, I got it. Like, let me play the game.
I don't know. I think I had a good relationship with
Mask Guy was annoying in Majora's Mask.
Yeah,
but he was the bad guy, so I guess that worked.
You kind of want him.
Yeah,
to be annoying.
It made sense that he was annoying, but he was annoying.
Yeah. No, I mean, I guess what would annoy me would be the camera angles that she would force me into.
See,
that was annoying. Okay, I get that. Okay. Okay.
But there was other parts of that game that brought
So
it
what
up.
do you think, based off of what you've played, because you gave your rating last time, now that you've returned the game.
So what did I say?
Last time I think you gave it a 7.
After playing another week of it, I drop it down to a 6. And I think if you were to say this game is a 6 or a 7, I think that's a fair assessment of the game. I'm leaning more towards a 6. This game is okay.
But what you could say,
it's not my style of fantasy game.
so taste is subjective because you could have people that score that higher. But what you can say with the certainty is anybody scoring it a 10 and anybody scoring it a 0, both of them are lying to you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. There's some other reason behind that. Now I'm not saying. I mean, maybe there is a genuine person out there that says, "Hey man, I played this game. It's my first Dragon Age game. It would have to be because that's the only reason you would give it a 10." And you're like, I really enjoy it, but and I think there's some people in our Discord that are enjoying it as well.
Yeah.
So I think you can enjoy it, but I think a lot of the like mainstream gaming outlets that are giving it a 10 are very politically motivated.
Are doing it to counter the people giving it a 0.
Yeah, and vice versa. The people giving it a 0 are doing it to you know what I mean. I don't.
Yeah, Cooper, for instance, in chat, Cooper says he gives it a 7.5.
When you take this game and let's put it next to another game in its genre, like I've seen a lot of people comparing it to The Witcher 3.
Yeah.
When you put its dialogue side by side and its topics that it talks about and the seriousness of how they handle those topics and the quest design and how the story is told, Witcher 3 blows this out of the water every single time. And one thing that people I've seen online is people have compared the Bloody Baron questline, which to be fair is probably one of the best questlines in The Witcher 3. I mean, there's still a lot
David's
of other
played
good
it
ones.
like 5 times.
Yeah, I have.
But people compare.
It gets me every time
because
too.
the reason people compare it is because, like for example, Dragon Age feels like Marvel villain bad guy. Yay, he's bad, kill him. Whereas the Bloody Baron is not a good guy, and you don't necessarily root for him. But when you sit down and talk and figure out what's going on, you kind of almost empathize with him.
Yeah.
But he's not the good guy.
What you do is you understand his decision making.
Yeah. And that doesn't mean you support what he says, but you're kind of like, you see where he's coming from. Whereas this game is, they don't, and again, I don't know if it's because you don't have the writing talent to do it, but they don't do that. Everything is very one-dimensional.
That's unfortunate.
And again, sometimes I just want a one-dimensional game. But in this case, there's other games that I'm playing, and there is another game I played this week that showed me what a real, well-written fantasy game can be like.
And here's the thing with this game. So, metaphor ReFantazio.
So I refunded Dragon Age, and I said, well, I want to play a fantasy game. I'm hearing a lot of good things about Metaphor. Let's give it a shot.
So for the record, I know personally multiple people who have played and beat this game, as well as watching people stream this game and seeing, I've watched probably 4 or 5 different reviews. This game universally is seen as not just game of the year, but maybe game of the decade type of talk.
Now, this game, by the way, to be fair, Navi type character. That's why I used her, because she reminds me of Navi a lot. She's a little bit annoying.
Gallica.
But again, there's other things in the game that uplift. Anyway, yeah. She's basically Navi. Anyway, so this game can very well be game of the year.
I mean, it's on everyone's it is legitimately on everyone's
Not even kidding. I'm still playing through it. I got a lot to go. It's a very long game. It's from the people that make Persona. It is a fantasy.
You just gave me an erection.
It is so it's a new game.
Hot.
So it has some Persona elements of
that is such a good game
of time, but this is set in a fantasy universe. Within the first 35 minutes of this game, they set up and expanded on a world and story that I was immediately hooked in, and I forgot Dragon Age even existed.
This is the boy Will asks, what is this
Persona
game called? This is Metaphor
ReFantazio.
Yeah.
Metaphor ReFantazio.
This is Atlas. This is Atlas.
Atlas,
this game.
that makes this is their new IP. It does have some. You'll see just looking at the art style, you can see the Persona flair.
I could totally see it. Yeah.
Cooper's 100% right. It's very full of long cutscenes. They do the anime style cutscenes. The story is top tier,
and the artwork, the world. I watched some of it, and it's.
I'm gonna move around. I'm gonna skip around.
You jump right in, and it's like, whoa.
Right, well, this is my next game.
It is
really good.
It's turn based, but the way they do their turn based is really cool. The way they have.
Tell them about the option to just combat it out.
Oh yeah, so they do this really cool thing.
Look at it. Wait, hold on, pause.
This looks very Persona.
Look how cool this world is, though.
Yeah, this looks very Persona.
Well, press play because seeing the artifact.
Press play. Okay.
Well, and it's got. I mean, when you're about to see this enemy right here, they go the Dark Souls route, the From Software route, which I really
enemies.
it's just like everything. It's unique. Like that's a unique enemy.
It is.
We're looking at here. I'm going to
There's
pause
an arrow shot through an egg of a half-open dinosaur with human legs.
with
Yeah.
human legs.
It's like a pterodactyl.
There's something they do, and you'll get as you kind of go, and as you know, I'll let the scholars handle this question, but as you go into the game and explore the story and learn about things, you start to understand why the title of the game is the title of the game and how things work, why it's a fantasy, this is where I realized, oh my goodness, this is what you can do when someone is and I'm not trying to knock on the Dragon Age people, but when you have a talented writer in the room,
Like, look at
these
the
are the
fighting.
kind of stories you can tell.
So what happens is with the fighting, so it's turn-based combat, but if someone is lower level than you, you can action combat them.
Oh yeah. So back to David's original question. So it's a turn-based combat game. So you go in. They have that Persona thing where or most action games where you can like hit the enemy in real time, and then you get an advantage in the turn-based section. But what they do, and I think it's
totally Persona.
I think it's to help like just the flow of the game. If you're over leveled to an enemy, like you're just over leveled, you're gonna smash them in turn based. So why waste your time? You can just do a combo with X and just kill them in the real time world,
Action
and then
combat
and then
mode.
just action combat,
Which
and
is
then just go.
fantastic because one of the downsides of turn-based combat games is when you're out in the world and this level 1 rat, now I got to fight them and it takes you out, and it's one thing that what's the Star game addressed really well because it never.
I
takes
know what
you
you're
out.
talking about.
Oh my goodness.
Why are we blanking?
I know it was actually
fantastic.
It was
I
actually a
actually
really
think
good
they
game.
just came out with a co-op mode.
Yeah,
too.
they're releasing an expansion to
an
it.
expansion with co-op.
Oh my
right?
gosh! Like, why can't we think of
Starfield,
Star Citizen? I mean, where are we at?
Star's like word of the year.
Sea of Stars.
There it is.
Who got it first?
I think you did. Yeah,
Sea of Stars. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, gee, that was rough.
Don't get old, everybody.
But that's why one of the things that Sea of Stars did differently that kind of solved for that is it never takes you out to a combat cutscene, so you're able to go through those like meaningless combats as you level up faster. Here in this game, it's genius. You could just skip it because those just become action combat.
Yeah.
So equal or higher level turn-based combat, everyone else action combat. It's a genius move.
No, it's really good. Well, and the turn base is so good. They have a battle layering system where you can use front row, back row. I keep calling them summons, but it's called archetypes in this game. The combat system is incredible. I actually think I like this game better than Persona because it's more
fantasy.
Well, yeah, but I think I like this game better than Persona. I know. Get mad at me for saying that.
No.
But Persona's good, but it is.
No,
it is very, very
the thing.
good. You
Not
would,
a lot
if you
of
like
people-
Persona,
Yeah.
you will. Because
Persona is so good.
There is some time elements that they keep in, and I like the way they do the time because
Like through storytelling, or what do you mean by time?
through storytelling, it's still a gameplay mechanic how it works. I mean, do you want me to explain it, or do you want me to be a?
No, I'm going to go into this blind. I'm going
the
straight
way
up
time. Now, I will say this: the first 3 hours, maybe 4 hours, depend on where. But the first few hours, I don't want to say is slow, but it does it doesn't abruptly stop you. But there's a lot of explanation through cutscene storytelling, teaching you how to play the game because there is a lot of mechanics in this game.
Yeah.
Teaching you how to play the game. So you might feel a little disoriented at first, but just once you keep going, this is the type of game that I could play for 60 hours.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, here's the thing.
as opposed to
No one's
to
going to get mad
Dragon.
at you for saying that it's better than Persona in your opinion because that is kind of the consensus right now that they took a masterpiece and masterpieced the masterpiece.
Yeah.
There's a lot. So what I'm watching, there's a lot of like upgrades, not upgrades, but like.
Well, you could tell it's
little-
from the same guys. You know.
You can tell it's from the same
The
guys, but
foundation
there's
is
like
the same.
there's like little differences that are cool.
Yeah.
Like when in the combat sequence, the buttons are moving around with the character.
Yeah.
Stuff like it's just super.
Well, and here's the thing. The character, so it's the reason if you're struggling with Dragon Age and you want a game that's, I mean, it's not similar. There's a party system is what I'm saying. You have characters. This character Stroll, learning about his story is like, wow. He's a compelling, interesting character that again, You may not like everything he says, or other characters like everything but you can see where they're coming from. Why you understand why he's on this journey with you. The writing is very. And here's the other thing, because I know this is like people. Let's be honest. Dragon Age Veilguard has been very politicized because of what's in it, how it's rounded from both sides. What's interesting about this game is they talk about political topics.
Yeah,
but it's done in a way, and again, this is where I think when you have good, talented writers
and good gameplay,
again, not trying to knock on the people at BioWare, but when you have a talented writing team that knows how to write, it doesn't matter what political undertones they're putting in here or whatever. It's the way they tell the story. It's very well done. And as of right now, I know I say this every week about the new game that I'm playing, but it's my game of the year.
I mean,
and this game, I can see why people give this a 10 out of 10. If it's, you can argue, well, no game is ever perfect. I can see why this gets 9s and 10s. 100%.
It's the legitimate consensus that's the common consensus.
So I've talked about it before, but I've been going back and watching Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood,
Yeah.
And watching that show made me realize that there has been like a famine of character development in shows and in movies and in games. It just hasn't existed. And so when games like this come out, they just stand out so strong because there has been just so much of character, like lack of good character, story, development, writing, all that stuff. So when you have a game like this, it just shines a lot. Like that show, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, is a masterpiece. Well, every single character in that show, and there's hundreds, I feel, they're perfect characters. And so when I'm going through watching that, it just blows my mind why people say that show's a masterpiece. When you're talking about that, Jordan, in this game, you realize how far we've fallen when it comes to good writing and good story and good character. It just stands out a lot more, I think.
Yeah, well, it's interesting you say character development, because now that I'm thinking about it, when you look at that first 2 to 4 hours of the game, the character Stroll is one of the first that join your party. Just his character development, because you learn who he is, then you kind of learn why he's doing what he's doing, and then you learn, okay, this is why he wants to join me. Like, it's also
the publishers and developers of this game have a history and pedigree of doing this.
I told David this week, and I'm gonna,
they're just very good at what they do and developing character. Like, for instance, look at the Persona series. Literally, think about the premise. It's stupid.
It's very true.
The premise
fair enough.
The premise
is true.
Like, tell someone the premise. You're a kid going to school, and
at nighttime,
there's 2 worlds in the school, basically, that you get trapped.
And the gym
go back
teacher,
and forth.
the gym teacher's a weirdo,
pedophile. But literally, you're going to school every day in that game, but they do it in a way and tell the story and get you sucked into the world and the characters that is fantastic. It's the same as like Rockstar. Rockstar has that pedigree. Atlas and the developers here have the pedigree for this.
I told David this week, and I think this is true right now. Until I'm proven wrong, we'll see how it goes. I think Eastern developers are the new best in the industry.
Well, there's the thing,
and the reason is because I think when they're developing their games, they think game first, not anything else. They think game first, and then other stuff comes.
Well, even that, there was an article I read this week about the creators of Legend of Zelda, Breath of the Wild, and stuff.
Oh yeah.
They don't do the story until afterwards. They focus on gameplay 100% first, and they come back and do the story.
Well, what was Tears of the Kingdom? Didn't they come out and say, like, 3 of these abilities were just debugging tools, but then they were like, why don't we just make it in the game? Oh, okay, yeah. Like, because I think the going through the caves was basically a cheat for the development team, and they're like, why don't we just put it in?
That's funny.
But again, that's you're thinking game first.
Yeah.
And I think the Eastern developers are the new best of the industry.
I don't know that they're the new, but I think that they are currently...
They haven't degraded.
They're on top because I think some Western developers...
have different...
Here's the thing, though. Have they, though? Because like when you look at like a CD Projekt Red absolutely crushing it with maybe one of the best RPGs, or if not the best of all time.
Witcher 3.
You've got great world creation in.
But
to be fair,
technically, CD Projekt Red is east of me.
in Take Two.
They're in Poland.
I mean,
think,
Take
right?
Two's crushing it. We had a fantastic Borderlands, a really good solid Borderlands, anyways. But then
you had a terrible movie.
But the movie does. But then you got Fallout.
But that's usually how gaming movies are.
But then
that's taking me back to my childhood.
no, but then you get Fallout,
Yeah,
the Fallout show, which is amazing.
Okay, I feel like Western developers have a lot more misses than Eastern. Not saying Eastern developers don't have misses, because there's some out there. Western developers, at least in the last 10 years, have had more misses.
Here's why I think you're wrong.
Okay.
Because we're in the West, the games that make it through from the East are the best of the best. And so
That's
you're
true.
getting
Most of them are mobile games.
Because there's a lot of crap out there.
Yeah, that's true.
No, yeah,
And so
I get
you're
that. Yeah.
getting exposed to the best, whereas you're in the West. So you're seeing a lot of games, and in any genre, a lot of games are going to be mid, and then there's going to be the masterpieces are the masterpieces. Let's
just take this year alone. Give me the best Western game this year, and let's match it against what I think is the best Eastern game. Metaphor. Honestly, I probably would say, and people might get mad at this, Black Ops 6 is the best Western game to come out this year.
Yeah, of course. They're done. And would you put that in masterpiece status in his genre? Yeah.
Not the same masterpiece as this game.
Well, they're two different genres, though.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Maybe it's just because I was coming off of Dragon Age, and then I played this, and I was like, "Holy crap! This is what fun is."
It's
not fun, but like this is like
it's like when you're
whoa.
outside
No,
in 120-degree weather, and you come into an air-conditioned room, and you're like, "Yeah."
Yeah. Well, this is just it really was just a whole, because it's a similar game in the respect that they're both fantasy games. They both have a party system. They both, it was such a shock how much I was sucked into this game as opposed to Dragon Age, Veilguard.
Yeah. I mean, here's a Western developer that's going to smash it as well as we talked about at the beginning of the series, Microsoft Flight Simulator 24. Another one
Is the Sobo a Western developer?
Another one that looks like it's going to do really well is Stalker 2.
They're not. Are they?
Yeah, they're Western.
Okay. I guess you're right. I guess East would be the Asian continent.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Well, they're east of me.
I think everything is except like New Zealand. No, wait, New Zealand's.
I think they're way east of me.
Oh, well, we're pretty much on the west.
Yeah, we're the line.
We are. Yeah, we're pretty there. There's just a lot of ocean after that.
But I just have to say, if you're looking for
Southeast, yeah, Cooper, yeah, Southeast.
If you're looking for a good
Helldivers 2?
fantasy game,
Is that this year?
Yeah.
But see, here's the thing about Helldivers 2. This kind of goes with my writing.
Helldivers 2 was a roller coaster of emotions for a lot of people.
For a lot of people.
Yeah.
But what that game did for me is it gave me men.
Gave me purpose.
It gave me like same. What was that other game that just came out? Warhammer. That game and
Space
Warhammer.
Marine. Very good.
I feel like I've been in a famine of just sweaty men getting the job done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it just was nice to just go and be a huge, massive dude with big
Also violence.
Yeah.
big balls
Well, it's
going
just
in
like-
and just. It reminded me of the old Gears games where it was just Marcus Phoenix and Dom getting the job done. You know what I mean? It just felt good to do that. And we haven't had games like, I feel like there's
Well,
a
it's just
famine of that.
It's like Warcraft Direct had their event, and they re-released, they remastered Warcraft 1 and 2, the original strategy games, and they redid the original artwork, but they kept it in line with what it was. And dude, the original, it's just like it's just a big dude with massive muscles in a plate of armor fighting a jacked shirtless orc, and you're like, yeah,
I'm a simple person.
Yeah, but maybe we might have said this at the time that what's it called? Warhammer Game of the Year. Is it Game of the Year though?
I think for me it's a contender. It's in my top 3 just because it was just pure fun.
It's a super
it's just
solid and
pure
really
fun.
fun, refreshing game. But is it Game of the Year?
Not for me.
I would
But-
it's in my top 3. I
that's-
would put this over that.
But see, that's why I'm saying it shines out so good for me, even though it's a good game. but it's not game of the year. But why it shines is it's just about big, sweaty.
Well, timing. A lot of games is timing too, and it was
Came out at the right time,
yeah.
and it was just so refreshing to be immersed in this world of just getting the job done.
Well, to be fair, I don't want to be like Debbie Downer. We have had a lot of good games this year, and we still have good games to come. We got Stalker and Indiana Jones, which I mean, I hope they're good. They look like they're going to be good, but it's just I feel like Metaphor is one of those games where it just, and maybe I was going in with no expectations, but it blew me away how good it is.
Well, everybody,
it's just like it
you're
was
not
like
alone.
whoa.
No, you're not alone. Sometimes there's games that just stand out that way, and this seems to be one of those games. It is that time, everyone. Though I do have to go.
Yeah, he's got to
let's
go.
see,
Yeah,
So,
we can-
see ya.
So I
Hard cut.
well, hard cut. No apologies, everybody. We have something that came up, so I'm not able to be here. So we don't have a extra bonus show today. We'll be back next week. We'll do one. Next week Next week I think we're doing Friday for our.
I think so,
show.
yeah.
So, but we'll make sure, even though it's a different off day, we'll do one because we haven't done one in the last 2 weeks to do our bonus member show. But thank you very much, guys, for tuning in this week. Thank you for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves.
Yeah, I'm going to be playing Metaphor.
Yeah, I would, if I were you, I would buy it immediately and just start playing.
After I'm getting it.
What about our franchise, guys?
We'll do that too. On the off days.
Yeah, we have to work in shifts.
I don't want to be
remember?
building bathrooms by myself. See you guys.
See ya.
I'm walking